Welcome in, everybody. This is the Take Two podcast. We are your Frame brothers, Jameson Frame, accompanied by my brother Reed Frame. Back with another Tuesday night podcast. Just want to say thank you for all the viewers we've got so far, the return viewers that are listening in. Reed and I really enjoy sitting down doing these once a week. If we can get enjoyment out of at least one other person, that's a win for us. So thank you guys for being here. If you want to drop us some comments and stuff you guys want us to talk about, otherwise, a like if you like this video, anything would be appreciated. I think Reed and I are going to dive into week 2, the surprises, the non-surprises. It was kind of a wild week, Reed. I don't know how much football you watched, or I can guess probably.
Watched a lot.
Yeah, that's probably what I had to guess.
Yeah. But my first takeaway is last night's football game. And something I watched. I watched the entire game, I think. It was a good game. Eagles, Falcons. And if you guys remember, it was our hot takes episode. I think it was 2 episodes ago. My really hot take was the Falcons were gonna have a top 3 offense at the end of the year. Week 1 did not look too hot for them, but this last night was the Falcons offense I thought we were going to see all year. And after what I saw last night, I think we're going to start seeing them progress and become better each week. So I'm really excited. My excitement's back up to what it was for the Falcons offense. That last drive looked amazing. Kirk Cousins looked good for once. So I was really impressed with that Falcons offense.
Yeah, I went to bed shortly into the third quarter. Watched all the highlights and kind of caught up on how the game progressed throughout the day. So kind of a wild ending. Still weird that the Eagles didn't run the ball more when they were down in field goal range. Out of timeouts, instead of throwing the ball trying to put the game away, you could have just ran the ball, chewed 40 seconds off the clock. Is what it is. They had to live with the result in the end. Then again, I guess I didn't have the utmost faith in the Falcons to put Kirk Cousins, put the team on his back and lead a scoring drive. So that and Darius Slay just kind of standing around on a simple out route at the end zone. It was kind of crazy that Drake London was that wide open for the touchdown winning catch. But
The one thing that I noticed is it was that or was it a 4th and 1? It was like a 3rd and 1 or a 4th and 1. I don't remember, but Saquon was wide open. He just dropped the ball.
you talking the Eagles' final drive of the game?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was when Saquon was out in the flat to the right, right?
And
And he
he
just
was wide open,
dropped it.
easy catch, easy first down. They would have
Yeah.
won the game if they got the first down, and he just drops it. And that's what lost him the game ultimately.
Well, yeah, but I mean, you could argue why don't just run the ball there? Like, yeah, you could try and pass the ball. You could salt the game away if you get the first down. But if you don't, this is the result. Plus an incomplete pass there gives the Falcons another 40 seconds on the clock. Like, just
Yeah.
run the ball, milk the 40 seconds off the clock. Then you give them the ball back with a 3-point lead with 50 seconds opposed to a minute and 20. You know what I mean?
I can definitely agree. But again, the play call worked. Like Saquon was open for that first down. It's Saquon's fault. It's not the coach's fault. It wasn't a bad play call, in my opinion. Right? The running would have been safer, but also I had to assume that the Falcons would have been calling a blitz interior. They had to think the run was coming. So call that play call where Saquon hits the flats, he was wide open. Saquon just got to come down with that ball.
I get it. Yeah, we can sit here and point fingers all day long. This was the right call. This was the wrong call. You should have done this. You should have done that. This was the result of the game. My opinion, I've always tended to be more conservative when it comes to this kind of stuff and winning the games. I don't love the whole going for fourth all the time. I'm not a fan of the Dan Campbell type aggressiveness. I can't get behind that. There are certain times where yeah, go for it. There's certain times where you just take the points, you move on with your life. Clock management type stuff. 40 seconds is pretty valuable at the end of a game. I'd probably lean more towards running it. Then again, I'm not getting paid to stand on a sideline to make these decisions. My opinion doesn't mean a whole lot. Um, so yeah, I mean, that's my 2 cents on the whole deal. Although,
Right.
yeah, great game, great ending. It came down to the wire. Enjoyment to watch, but I am very surprised that the Eagles did not pull off a win in that game.
Yeah, definitely. Another game I kind of want to move to is the Cardinals Rams game.
Marvin Harrison Jr.'s, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the NFL.
So week one, he got the ball once for what was it, 4 yards? It was like one
Yeah,
reception
they're
for
gonna
4 yards.
one catch for 3 yards, 4 yards, something like that.
Everyone was pissed off at Arizona. Everyone was mad at Kyler Murray. They come back week two. And I know in our preseason overview, you were super high on the Rams, right? You had the Rams like going 11-6 or something crazy, and I knew that was going to be completely wrong, especially now after they got beat 41-10 to the Arizona Cardinals, but
Yeah, I mean, I get it. Cardinals look a lot better than I think everybody thought they were gonna look.
I do agree
Um,
with that.
that sneaky James Conner that how originally I thought James Conner was going to be a sneaky good pick this year, and then I backed off it after looking at the offensive line. Should have stuck with my gut before that because he is turning into quite the good player this year. The Cardinals. Kyler Murray had a perfect passer rating in that game against the Rams, which is crazy for Kyler Murray. As I mean, last year they were talking about him potentially getting traded or cut, even
Hmm.
like people were just
Hmm.
done with him, and now all of a sudden he's turned it around in this offense, and the Cardinals look like a kind of a force to be reckoned with. It. I mean, it was one game, so looked at overreaction Tuesday like we did last week, but Rams look to be in extremely rough shape.
Definitely. Yeah, 41 points to 10. That's insane. I almost would say that's like a college or a high school score. You don't see that very often in the NFL. But yeah, Marvin Harrison, man. I think that truly is what everyone thought Marvin Harrison was going to look like coming out of college. Week one, just what maybe some adjustment in the NFL. But Marvin Harrison looked amazing in this game.
Yeah, it's kind of what everybody thought. I mean, the other thing you had to realize as well is the Rams have now lost their best two receivers. They are down Puka Nacua and Cooper Cup for at least the next 4 weeks. That is going to be a very rough time for the Rams coming up. I feel bad for Matthew Stafford. He's already getting older in his career, and now he just lost his best two receivers. He's just going to have to try and make it up on the fly. I mean, it doesn't look good for my prediction that the Rams are going to be a force to contend with this year. So
Definitely.
I guess bad call on my part, but it is still too early to tell for sure.
Yeah. There's so many games. I'm looking at the scoreboard. There's so many surprises just looking at like box scores. Something that's jumping out to me is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. What's going on over there? Why is Baker Mayfield playing like Tom Brady? Is my real
I
question.
I didn't. Yeah, it's a good point. Like you said, there was a lot of good games. Um, good games in the sense that they were supposed to be like the betting lines before these games. There was like a lot of 5 and 6 point spreads, and there was quite a few upsets against the spread. So it's a crazy in 1 week for sure. I mean, upsets happen all the time, but getting back to the Buccaneers, like you said, originally I thought Baker Mayfield was going to have a regression season. Dave Canales was there last year. He kind of turned things around for Baker's career. I thought he was still going to be decent. I had the Bucks winning the division, so I thought they'd still be good enough to win. But I didn't think Baker was going to be playing lights out like he is. I mean, Derek Carr is another prime example of a person coming out of nowhere and just lighting it up. Seems like a
Saints,
Super
man.
Bowl team right now.
So do the Bucks. They just beat the Lions. I think I had the Lions winning the Super Bowl, right?
You
I
had them
think I had
going
the
for
Lions.
sure. I don't remember who you had winning.
I had the Lions Texans, and I think I had the Lions winning the Super Bowl.
They still could. One game doesn't determine everything.
You're right, but the Buccaneers, man, beating the Detroit Lions is nothing to just forget about. Like the Detroit Lions are a good team.
They are. They also do fake punts on their own side of the field.
Yeah, don't mention it.
That's see that's the type of thing I can't get by. Just no thanks. It worked, so I guess I'm in the wrong, but just I don't love it. Don't love it.
Definitely. But back on Baker, fantasy wise, Baker is insane. I think he's QB1 right now. Definitely would not have
Is he?
predicted. Yeah, I think so. He's sat on my bench for both week one and week two. I am finally starting
Wow.
him week three, and now he's gonna go for like 9 points, just because that's how it works for me. So, but Baker. He's playing lights out. That's all I can really say. Would you say, I know it's week 2, but would you say Baker Mayfield is in the number one MVP right now? If the season ended today and they had to hand the MVP over to Baker, would it be Baker?
I saw a post today, and it was like this MVP race is getting out of hand, and it was a picture of Baker Mayfield, Derek Carr, and Sam Darnold.
And it's not wrong.
It's just like this is not good. Like these are the three quarterbacks that are playing like really well right now. That's not good.
Yeah, it's it's insane. Like right now, I would say MVP Baker Mayfield. I think he's the best player in the league right now.
Trying to think. There's got to be somebody else, right?
Not that's playing as good as him.
I mean, running backs are going crazy right now. There's got to be a running back that's just
A Chain.
I don't know. I'd have to see like total spreads and stuff like that. I saw today. It was Brock Purdy's leading the league in passing yards right now.
Yeah,
What's that about? I don't feel like the
I
49ers have done anything on offense. I feel like they've just struggled the whole.
on to that
That's
game,
what
the
it feels like.
49ers the 49ers losing to the Vikings.
Hey, my boy Sam Darnold. Don't be messing with Sam Darnold.
Oh my. It's this week was insane.
This week was crazy. I mean, there's a lot of injuries you have to realize too. Dolphins losing Tua. We can get into the whole Tua situation too coming up here. We'll finish kind of the recap of week 2. The Dolphins lose Tua for at least 4 weeks. They put him on IR. You got the Packers who lost Jordan Love. Malik Willis comes in, wins the game against the Colts, which is mind blowing. I mean, what else you got? You got the
Good too.
Cardinals upsetting the Rams. I thought that was a pretty solid. I figured the Rams would be able to handle business there. The Ravens losing to the Raiders was crazy.
Ravens being
Um,
0-2 is crazy.
Falcons beating the Eagles. The Texans barely beating the Bears is a little bit surprising. The Saints upsetting the Cowboys. The Vikings upsetting the 49ers. I mean, there was a lot of good games, a lot of good football to watch this Sunday, and just this week in general. So I love it for the game, love it for the fan experience. Don't love it for my fantasy team.
Definitely. Another game might be a homer here. The Seahawks Patriots. I was going in really confident in the Seahawks, and then I learned Kenneth Walker was out. Kind of lost almost a lot of that confidence. Still didn't think we were gonna go to OT. I didn't think we were gonna lose to the Patriots, but OT with the Patriots and winning by 3. I was the Patriots have impressed me, if I'm
I
being
was I was just
honest.
gonna ask, are the Patriots better than everybody's kind of thinking that they are, or did the Seahawks just play worse than what we thought they were gonna play?
I think the Patriots are better than everyone thinks they are.
I would have happened to agree. I think that the defense is kind of the defense is just better than what a lot of people give him credit for. And then Jacoby Brissett is quietly putting together a decent season at quarterback for the Patriots. Nothing to write home about yardage wise and touchdowns and the flashy kind of stuff, but he gets the job done. He knows what he needs to do to keep the ball moving. So good on him. And Rondre Stevenson, I know you hate the guy, but dude is very efficient with the ball right now.
No, he's not.
You can't no. One thing you can hate a guy all you want, but you got to give them their flowers when they're due. You got to give somebody credit even if you don't like them.
It's all Jacoby Brissett. The way he hands off the ball just makes him run better. So
Right.
his handoff form basically just makes him better. So it's not Ramondre Stevenson, it's Jacoby Brissett.
I mean, the funny thing is, Antonio Gibson had more rushing yards.
Oh,
Antonio
exactly.
Gibson had 11
Antonio
carries for
Gibson's better.
97
Antonio
yards.
Gibson's better. Antonio Gibson's better.
Oof.
Whatever
He
happened
was
with
my
that
sleeper,
guy?
my fantasy sleeper. Yeah, I did remember saying his name. Not for
And,
this
and
reason. I thought he'd be catching passes, but I mean,
Antonio Gibson
whatever.
though, like 3 years ago, I feel like everyone was like super hyped for him. Bro just fell off.
Well, he had the one season on the Commanders. I can't remember if it was his rookie year or his second year. And then going into that next season, everybody was like, "This is the guy. Like he's gonna be." our number one, and he just did not play.
Yeah,
So then he kind of fell off.
never turned out.
One
Another
thing,
game I'll
one thing I
touch.
wanted to touch on, and I really want to touch on this because I had a lot of fantasy points riding on this, is the Commanders had like 5 red zone trips and didn't get a single touchdown. That's it. You have Jaden Daniels. You have Brian Robinson who's playing extremely well. You got tons of weapons. You got tight ends. Not tons. Tons was quite the exaggeration in that wide receiver room. But you can't put the ball in the end zone one time in 5 trips against the Giants. That's
Yeah, going.
brutal.
Yeah, going to the Super Bowl in 3 years.
Hey, stepping stones.
What I want to talk about is Terry McLaurin, 2 weeks in a row.
Well, you can't get the ball. Jaden Daniels steps back to pass, and he goes, "Not run." He's like, he looks at his one read. It's not there. Just instantly takes off. Hey, I thought he was going to be a better like pure passer. I mean, I knew he had the scrambling ability and that he liked to run. He had the great ability of running, but I thought he was a more like stay in the pocket, can get through progressions, and then has the ability to run if neither of them are there. But from what I've been seeing, is he just sits there after his first read isn't there, he just instantly starts to scramble. And he's gonna get killed. I thought he got hurt this week. He took a pretty big hit and he was like limping off the field. He was grimacing in pain and whatnot. I'm like, this guy's gonna get himself killed out here, and he's playing the Giants.
Yeah.
And I really like Jay Nance. I got him on my fantasy team. I think he's gonna be a really good quarterback. I'm starting to get a little worried. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Yeah, I traded for Terry McLaurin and he's just been terrible, so I'm not
Yeah,
happy
he
about
is.
that.
I don't know if he's gonna finish. What I have him top 5 as a wide receiver. That I don't think that's happening anymore.
Yeah, our hot takes are looking to be more hot than we thought.
I mean, mine are still sitting pretty good. Jaden Daniels is still the rookie of the year right now. And then Sam Darnold is still, he's a top 10 quarterback right now.
Yeah, but where's Terry
I'm still
McLaurin?
intact. They're not perfect, but mine are still intact.
Hey, mine are still intact. Falcons are going top three.
Not completely at last game, maybe.
If they keep
Because of
playing
their
like that,
first
they'll
game, I
be
don't
top
think
three.
combined,
Yeah.
I don't think they're, yeah, yet.
Yeah.
They're
Finally
back
time.
on track.
Hey, but I was right about DeAndre Swift, wasn't I?
Yeah, Swift does not look good. The Bears
Yeah.
offense just doesn't look good. Caleb Williams looks like he's struggling.
Caleb
You know who
Williams
else is
looks
struggling? Bryce Young.
the
That boy,
Panthers.
that boy looks awful.
That oh,
What
who would you say the
what
worst quarterback in
happens?
the league? League is.
The worst starter so far?
Yeah.
Bryce Young by a mile.
I wouldn't say by a mile.
I would.
For me, it's a tie. It's Bryce Young and Deshaun Watson.
No. I'll take Deshaun Watson over Bryce Young. Their play the last 2 weeks. Give me Deshaun Watson night and day.
I don't
I
know,
don't care
man.
what you have to say. I don't care what you argue, how you
I
argue
don't
it.
want
You're gonna lose
either.
my
I
mind.
don't I don't want either of them is what I'm gonna say.
Well, yeah, nobody does. You're taking the bottom 2 quarterbacks.
You would say Deshaun Watson's the second worst?
I don't know if he's the second worst. I'm saying I'm taking him over Bryce Young. I mean, Will Levis hasn't looked great either.
I would rather have Will Levis than either of those
Well,
guys.
I agree too. I'm just trying to think of quarterbacks. Are Bo Nix is struggling. He doesn't look great.
Daniel
Caleb Williams
Jones.
is really struggling.
Daniel Jones. He's been playing
I
well though,
haven't
hasn't
heard
he?
a lot of hate on
Yeah.
Daniel Jones. I mean,
He's been just
there's
mediocre.
he just threw for 178 yards and 2 touchdowns.
It's mediocre.
That's average. That's better than bottom 2.
Mediocre. Yeah, I would say Bryce Young is the worst in the league. I would agree with
Yeah,
that.
the problem that Bryce Young is going to have is if Andy Dalton comes in and even puts on like an average performance, I don't know as a Panthers organization how you go back to it. If Andy Dalton has any sort of success, you have to keep riding with Andy Dalton now until he struggles, and then you can give Bryce Young another chance. Because now you put yourself in a position where if Andy Dalton has any success, it's already better than they've had before. The organization, especially David Tepper, or I don't know what his name is, the Panthers owner, very impatient guy. If he starts to see any progression, he's not going to allow the team to go backwards and say, "Well, we've given Bryce Young a chance to kind of sit on the bench and figure his stuff out. We're going to put him back in." They're going to be, "No, we're going to keep riding with Andy Dalton. It just is what it is." And probably what's going to happen is they're just going to cut Bryce Young at the end of the season or trade him for a sixth round draft pick to the Cowboys or something like that and move on with their life. That's actually not a bad take right there.
It's always the Cowboys, isn't it?
Well, it was kind of like a Trey Lance situation, is kind of why I said that.
Okay.
They did the Cowboys just did that with Trey Lance, a late round draft pick for a former first round pick quarterback that they could try and salvage the career out of was the mindset there.
Uh, just the Panthers are the worst offense in the league right now. 13 points in two
Yeah.
games.
They also have the highest paid offensive line.
Really? That's insane.
Yep.
Could you name me one person off the offensive line? Ika Mekwanu, is he
Gabe Lewis.
a Panther?
Gabe Lewis, buddy.
Gabe Lewis?
Damian Lewis. Wow, that was
Yeah,
a bad pull.
yeah, you don't even know his name, dude. Isn't
Yeah, Damian Lewis. You got
Ika
Taylor
Mekwanu?
Morton. Icky McGuana's at left tackle. You got Gabe or God, uh, Damian Lewis at left guard. Their center, I
Yeah.
don't know. Their right guard, I couldn't tell you. He just got signed too. And then their right tackle is Taylor Morton. Their guard, it just they signed both guards at this offseason and paid him like big money. It might be that Robert
Damian.
Hunt guy from the Dolphins,
Yeah, that sounds right.
but I don't know who their
But
center is.
but like either of those guards aren't like insanely good. Like
They paid him like they are though.
Damian Lewis was mediocre.
He was he was definitely startable. He was a starting.
Oh yeah.
He was top 32 for sure. I'd probably argue he's top 20, top 15 even. I mean, he was like, yeah, like, I guess average. That would be the average. So, yeah.
He just they paid him way too much.
Yeah, they definitely overpaid for him. I don't know. Is
And
that was there a big market for guards this offseason? Is that like just what the going rate was if they wanted a guy that had starting experience? Like, I don't know that side of things. It seems like an overpay to us, but if that's what the going rate was for the guard and you needed a guard, it's kind of is what it is.
yeah, I can get that. But like even having the most expensive offensive lineman in the league and then you score 13 points in two games. I fantasy real quick. I'm taking the defense that plays Carolina every single week.
I think we're going to be in for a real surprise this next week with the Panthers. I think Andy Dalton is going to do. I guess hold on, who did they play? The Raiders, man. Max Crosby might have a field day. Um, I think Andy Dalton. Well, Andy Dalton can't do worse. We'll start there. Yeah, I tried to take the opposite of you, but I don't know if I can on this one. Andy Dalton's going to
Max
be.
Crosby's having a field day.
Am I wrong?
No, he's gonna eat him alive.
Yeah, he's going to get. There's going to be a lot of short passes, so I don't know how that votes for any of the Panthers wide receivers because they're all just like route runners and high possession guys. They're not much for speedsters.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is gonna be another rough one for the Panthers. I think they play better. They're gonna look better than they have, just because you can't look worse. But I don't. That's not saying a whole lot.
All right. Now, as if you're like the Panthers like GM or head coach, are you already chalking the season up? You're like, all right, season's over already.
But I don't think you can. I think you're fighting for your job.
You're right, but
That
like
however long that GM has been there, I don't know what his leash looks like with the owner. That owner has a history of being very impatient and moving on from coaches relatively quickly after they can't get success. So if you're the GM and this is your second year and all of a sudden you're looking worse, the owner's gonna be like, we gotta figure something else out. Like we gotta get you out of here and get somebody else and who's gonna do the job. So I don't think you can just mail it in and tank the season. I think you have to show improvement and show to the owner, hey, we had a rough start. We figured it out middle of the season. The end of the season looks a lot better. Here's our game plan going into next year. I think we can build and have a competitive season next year. And basically just like begging for your job by showing him that we're starting to have success. I think it's the only way you can keep your job on that team right now.
Yeah. But would you say the Panthers will probably have the number one overall pick next draft?
Or the Giants. The Giants don't look great either.
So if you are say they fire the GM and they hire Jameson Frame as the Panthers GM, what are you doing? How are you rebuilding the Panthers?
Oh geez, I'd have to do a lot more research
I'm
into that.
basically talking QB situation. You have a high draft
Um
pick next year. Are you taking
I mean, if I
QB?
have the first overall pick, I'm probably taking Carson back, right? Carson back. Shador Sanders is probably going to be up there.
Quinn
Dylan
Ewers?
Gabriel is probably going to be up there.
Quinn
Like,
Ewers?
I don't love Ewers. I think he'll be a first round pick, but I'm not taking a first overall. So, I mean, your options are either you have to get a quarterback, right? So, Bryce Young's not it unless he shows some miraculous comeback at
What
the end
you
of the
want?
season, which I highly doubt. I'd put him on the trading block and I'd get whatever I could for him. Somebody pick up his contract. He's on a rookie deal, so he's still relatively cheap, but you still want to ditch that contract if you can. Give me a fifth round pick, a sixth round pick, even a seventh round pick, whatever. Um, Bryce Young in a seventh for a sixth. Upgrade your pick, something like that. I don't care. Get him off the team. Start over. You can keep Andy Dalton. Bring him back. He's already going to know the offensive system for another year. So you can bring him in to mentor another young guy. Draft a Carson back, somebody like that first overall. You could always trade back in the first round to a team that wants the first overall pick to get a tackle. I think this is a pretty tackle heavy class, if I'm not mistaken. Somebody maybe coming up for a tackle. You can move back, pick up another couple picks in the second, third round to try and build out your roster. And then you go get your quarterback wherever you think he's going to fall on the board. Get your guy that buys you a couple years to try and mentor him and get this team back around. You need to get receivers on this team. Deontay Johnson and Adam Thielen are they're just not it. Adam Thielen's he was always fun to watch when he was on the Vikings. He's an older guy. He was never the fastest. He's a good route runner. You got to get some speed and some high energy people. Maybe get one of those guys in the draft. I mean, that's where I'd start if I was the Panthers. But other than that, I mean, that all sounds good on paper. It's all warm and fuzzy inside, but probably not that easy.
Old do you think Adam Thielen is?
32.
4.
He's older than I thought. Even more reason. Time to pack your bags, old man. The retirement home's waiting for you.
Yeah, Adam Thielen, I feel like he's been around forever.
And he's really good in his prime. He not the fastest dude, but he always got open. He made some great plays. No hate against the guy. It's just if I'm rebuilding a team, that's not the guy I'm looking for to a 34, 35-year-old Adam Thielen is not what I'm trying to rebuild with.
Yeah, and like you said, they really need a wide receiver that can stretch the field. I don't think they have a true deep threat
Wandale
speedster
Robinson is
guy.
like their shiftiest, fastest guy, and he's not great. I mean, he's a wide receiver 3 at best.
Yeah, I think that's something they definitely need there. Yeah,
I mean, I think
enough
they
of
were
the
hoping that Mingo was going to be that guy, Jonathan Mingo.
and he
I
really
think that was
hasn't
their
amounted to anything. I was a big fan of
right,
Mingo
but
out of college.
I think a lot of people were on it being he was going to be the only really good receiver on the team. A lot of people thought like he's going to be our Malik Neighbors as what he is to the Giants, which he had a really great game by the way. I don't know if you saw that, but getting back to the Panthers, um, it's It's just not good. There's a lot of things not to like about that team.
Definitely. Enough crying over the terrible Panthers. Sorry if you're a
I
Panthers
wasn't
fan.
crying.
Well, I'm saying like
A
if
lot
you're
of
a
people
Panthers
are. A lot
fan,
of people are.
I'm
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
real sorry for you because it's gonna be another painful year for you guys. Same with like the
It's a
Giants.
long
Like,
season when you know your team's going to be absolutely garbage by week two. Like
yeah,
that's just brutal.
and now you have to endure like insane in thousand more weeks worth of football. That's where you just
There's
like
16
ditch.
more regular season weeks, and you know already by your team's probably going to be fighting for the first overall pick. Like we got
At
next
that
year.
at that point, you're like, yes, lose. You know,
Oh man, I can't imagine.
it's terrible.
I hope, knock on wood, I hope I don't have to experience that ever, but I'm sure it'll happen eventually. I feel like as an organization, at some point you're going to hit rock bottom like that. You hope
I
not.
think it's just how the league works. You know.
Should.
Mm. Yeah. Let's move to week three preview now.
I want to touch on Tua before we do that.
Yeah, it's more
So
of a
with
week
Tua
three
getting
preview.
hurt, yeah, he's had. Oh, is that what you're getting at there?
Yeah, because like I feel like
Um,
Tua is the future now.
right,
Enough of
I
that.
got you.
Keep talking. Keep talking.
So Tua had his fourth concussion in 5 years. I think I'm getting that right.
Yep, fourth.
If you're if you're Tua, do you retire? Do you keep playing? What do you, I guess, what is your thought process for Tua?
I think Tua shouldn't have the option to come back. I think they need to scan him for CTE or something and not let him come back to play football.
So then what do you, I just want to make this very clear. I agree. I don't think he should play football again, whether that is somebody telling him he can't or he makes that decision on his own. I don't think we should be putting their livelihood, their future above watching like good football now. Like he's a great player. I don't know what great. He's fun to watch, and he makes the offense run, makes the Dolphins a fun offense to watch. Right, that's great. It's very entertaining for all of us as fans. His life and his future is not worth him dying early or having all these problems just so that we get to have a fun experience on a weekly basis. It's not fair to him. Um, but also the Dolphins just signed him to this massive contract, a lot of it guaranteed. If he walks away after 2 weeks and gets all this guaranteed money, like the Dolphins organization is just crippled for the next 4 years, essentially.
Yeah,
Like that's like if the NFL is basically saying, or even the team is basically saying, like you can't play again, there's almost got to be some like, I mean, I guess that's the chance you take with a guaranteed contract,
yeah,
huh? Like,
100%. I think
yeah,
injuries are a part of the game. You knew when you signed Tua to that uh contract, he already had three concussions.
yeah, he had the injury history, so you knew kind of what you were getting yourself
You
into. I
knew what you were
guess,
getting
yeah.
yourself into. It's the same thing as when Saquon, he was on his rookie deal, so it doesn't really matter. But Saquon tore his
Right.
ACL. I think he tore his ACL. They didn't get money back for that. Doesn't when Nick Chubb last year, they didn't get money back for that. It's never happened in the past. It shouldn't happen this time. I know it's sad. I know it sucks. They knew it could happen. Anytime you sign a contract, it's football. Players get hurt. I don't care who it is. You sign them to a big guaranteed contract, they could still get hurt and you still owe them that money. I think the Dolphins, they made a mistake. They didn't know they made a mistake. Honestly, I think I would have done probably the same thing. Tua was a good player, but I think Tua should retire and he still should get that money because that's what the contract said.
I can't argue with you. I can play devil's advocate and say if the NFL is going to be the one who makes Tua retire as a greedy owner of the Dolphins, seeing that my pocket's going to be hurting for the next 4 years now because of this, he could go back to the NFL and say, well, this isn't fair. Like, I didn't want him to retire. I still wanted him to play because we signed him to all this money and I still need to make money. Boo hoo. Like, you know what I mean? I could see that side of things too and be like, well, this isn't fair. You're making my guy retire. I'm forced to pay this guy all this money. And now my team's going to be crippled for the next 4 years over your guys' decision. Like, like it's just devil's advocate. I don't think that's how that should play out. I don't know the owner very well. I don't know the situation. If he's greedy like that, if he doesn't care about his players, I don't want to get into any of that because I don't know. I don't care. I'm still behind the opinion that Tua shouldn't play anymore, whether that's his decision or somebody else's. But I could see some kind of fiasco coming out in that side. I think the business side of the game. You know what I mean? Where it's all about dollars and cents.
The only thing I could see as like a compensation if they force him to retire and it's not his choice is like a compensatory pick. I can't say that word, but they just give him
I know
like
what you're talking about.
they give him like a free draft pick. I don't know what round it would be. I don't know what pick it would be, but I feel like I might be okay with that. I don't think they should give him money back. I don't think they should do any of that. I do. I could maybe get behind giving them like a draft pick. Definitely not like the first overall pick.
Right.
Maybe I don't even
Like
know
a
if I want.
third, fourth round pick or something
Yeah,
like that.
yeah, maybe like a third, fourth pick.
I don't hate that. I mean, I didn't even think about that alley of yeah, interesting.
And that's if they raise like a big ruckus, be like, hey, yeah, we totally get it here. Take like a fourth round pick. Like,
Right.
is it a perfect thing that's gonna completely make up for it? No. Is it something like to understand, like, hey, yeah, he was forced to retire for his health concerns. I kind of feel sorry for you. Like, you're kind of in shambles for the next 4 years because you have like half the salary cap everyone else has. Take a fourth round pick. Like, does it completely solve the problem? No. Does it make it a tiny bit better? I think so. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, it does all go back to like what you said. You knew what you were signing up for when you signed for that contract. You knew his injury history. You made your bed. Now you got to lay in it, kind of thing too. So I definitely see both sides of the argument. I just wanted to play a little devil's advocate there for argument's sake. I guess jumping into week three, kind of the preview of upcoming games. Um, you got any locks for this week for the NFL just to flip them on their head for you?
I was just about to say, if I make a lock, they're instantly not a lock. Um,
Right? Based on
yeah.
last week.
Part of me says, give me the Saints over the Eagles.
With how the Saints have been playing and how the Eagles played against the Falcons, I mean, Eagles will have a
And the
short week
Packers.
too. You got to think about that. Yeah. So Eagles are on the road on a short week to New Orleans.
With how New Orleans has been playing and with how the Eagles have been playing, they haven't looked good.
Yeah. I mean, I could see it. I could see anything at this point. I
Yeah.
think Texans Vikings going to be a really high scoring game. I think that's going to be a good
Texans,
one.
Vikings.
I think it's going to be a kind of almost like a shootout, like a 31-24 type game, something like that.
I could see that. I could see that. My lock of the week though is going to be Panthers over Raiders.
I'll give you that one. You can die on that hill alone.
Yeah, the score is going to be 3-0. If you can't tell, I'm joking. The score is going to be like 21-10, if I'm being real here. I think that's kind of realistic. Raiders are winning that. I'm not saying the Panthers are winning, but I think 21-10-ish. Raiders over Panthers.
I'm trying to think of which game I really like. I thought I just had one. I wouldn't be surprised if the 49ers just absolutely roll the Rams.
Yeah.
49ers just lost. I mean, that they lost the game that they should have won. The Rams are down both the receivers. I could see the 49ers winning this game heftily. 28-10, 31-3, 31-7. Like just absolutely just steamrolling them. I could see that happening.
Um, let's go to Thursday night football. Who do you
Yep.
got?
Patriots
Jets,
Jets.
Patriots.
Sneakily, I like the Patriots to win this game.
This is going to be a good game. I think this might be game of the week.
If anybody would have told me that Jacoby Brissett versus old man Aaron Rodgers, Patriots Jets was going to be the game of the week, I would have told them they're out of their mind.
I truly think this will be game of the week, and I think it's going to be give me 31-28.
Ooh, I think it's gonna be low scoring.
Really?
I think
You're
it's gonna
right,
be something
Patriot.
along the lines
I
of
forgot. Every time I think the Patriots, I'm like, yeah, they're bad. Their defense is the highlight of that team.
right. They keep it close and they keep it low scoring.
Give me 17-14.
You see like 24-16
Oh,
Patriots.
oh.
Like that'd be on the high end for me.
I'm thinking 17-14 Patriots.
17-14.
Patriots, yeah.
Yeah, I kind of like that too. Something along those lines for sure. I think you're on the right track. I do have the Patriots winning this one. With how they played against the Seahawks and kind of watching that game in full. I think the Patriots, like we kind of said, they're a lot better than a lot of people give them credit for. The
Yeah.
Jets haven't looked great. They just lost Jermaine Johnson, I think, just tore his ACL or hurt something. He's out for a while now, if not the whole season. Um, Aaron Rodgers and the offense doesn't look great. The Patriots defense has looked good, so it's gonna be a good matchup. Actually, just how they, just how Amazon wanted the Patriots Jets week 3, how they thought the game was gonna be
Yeah,
close and
definitely.
entertaining.
Definitely.
You
Um,
got you got a sleeper of the week.
Leaper of the
You got
week.
Skylar Thompson or something like that.
No. Leaper of the week.
Who?
I don't have one.
I'm gonna roll Seahawks defense again against the Dolphins. They kind of let me down against the Patriots, but I'm just gonna keep riding the Seahawks train. Patriots defense versus the Jets wouldn't be a bad scoop for defense.
I like. Who do I like? I don't know if this is much of a sleeper, but give me Baker against the Broncos.
Broncos defense hasn't looked great.
And Baker's been looking amazing.
Give me Malik Willis revenge game against the Titans.
That's gonna be a good game. No, it won't.
Yeah, I could see something like that happening. Lions Cardinals should be a fun one to watch too.
Lions Cardinals. No, I think the Lions have a bounce back game after last week and they destroy the Cardinals.
Lions are coming off a loss. Cardinals are coming after a absolute blowout win. They're gonna be a little over.
Yeah.
What do you call it?
Overhyped, over.
Overexcited or
Yeah.
yeah. I know. I can't think of the word right now. Ravens Cowboys could be interesting. Both of them coming off of embarrassing losses.
Yeah. Yeah,
Cowboys never
that's.
look good against playoff teams typically.
I'm over here thinking of more sleepers. Give me Young Ho Koo against the Chiefs. Kicker for the Falcons.
I kind of like that. I'll give you a surprise one. Give me Jermaine Burton. Is Chase sitting out this week? Or is
Jamar
Higgins
Chase.
sitting out? Yeah.
Higgins is probably out.
Yeah. So whoever the number 2 receiver is on the Bengals this week is gonna have a big game. So if T. Higgins comes back, T. Higgins is gonna have a big game. If Jermaine Burton is their number 2 or number 3, I look to him to have a big game. Commander's secondary has been pretty awful this year. They're giving up a ton of yards to quarterbacks. And obviously, if quarterbacks are having a lot of yards, the receivers they're throwing it to typically are. So I look to Bengals to have a high powered passing attack this week against the Commanders. So sleeper wide receivers. That Andy, I don't know how to pronounce that dude's name. The guy in the Bengals, he scored 2 touchdowns, I think, this past week. He's number like 80. His last name starts with like IG, Igla something. I don't know. Bad podcasters don't even know the name of the guys we're trying to tell you are going to be sleepers. Apologize.
Here, I'll take a look.
Yeah, so I think I really like Jermaine Burton as a prospect, especially with T Higgins being on the last year of his deal. So that's why I brought his name up specifically. Did you find the guy?
I'm not gonna try to pronounce his name. It's
It,
Andre
Ig,
Lasso Lassiavas.
yeah. But look for him or Burton to have a big game if T Higgins is out, because the
Yes.
Commanders are probably going to be double teaming Chase, which is going to leave other people open. Those guys, they're going to be passing the ball quite a bit. So
Yeah, if anyone else is a fantasy owner of Chase, you're definitely just as disappointed as I am because Jamar Chase looks terrible, or doesn't look terrible, is
yeah, there's a
playing
lot of guys
terrible
that
for
are like this.
fantasy.
There's a lot of guys that are not playing great for fantasy this year. Travis Kelsey, yeah,
Traded him
yeah.
away.
So did I.
Yeah, he looks like he needs to retire.
Yeah, look, he just looks old. I don't know what it is. Just watching him play, he just plays slow. So I don't know.
Yeah,
But
for
yeah,
sure. Well, everyone, thank you for watching our podcast, watching our week 2 review, week 3 preview. Uh, uh, if you liked our hot takes or little like making fun of Terry McLaurin because Terry McLaurin sucks and is never going to be a top 5 wide receiver, and I want him off my fantasy team right now. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed watching. Don't forget to subscribe, like, leave comments, sharing your opinions with us, saying if you disagree, agree with us. If you hate us or like us, leave us comment down below telling us how you feel. Anyways, thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you next time.
peace out, everybody.